But if you're asking me, what do I look for? No, I would never, ever like commit years of my life to someone based on, yes, they have good stats. That's the last thing I'm thinking of. You know, if I'm thinking of wanting to work with someone for 12 months, 24 months, hopefully a career, the only thing I care about is the ability.
Yeah.
And like I say, the drive. But I do think, a commitment to not even forget the word social media, because obviously everyone's like marketing, which is still a bit to creatives. But marketing has been a part of the music industry since it started, since we started selling records. So it's no different then than it is now. And I would say I'd struggle to want to work with someone, even if they had all the ability that I wanted from an artist, if they just had no respect for marketing, if they didn't understand that was a part of how we were going to get their music and the art that we've worked on together to more people.
Yeah.
How has A&R changed, in your opinion, with a lot of artists now maybe putting two fingers up to the industry and like getting them on board? Like a lot of independent artists, it seems like there's a bit of a wave at the moment, and we've had people in the chair saying like, oh, I'm fed up with the music industry, it's not for me, we're doing it all on our own, we're creating this thing. How does that, say you see someone that you love and they're just like, who do you work for? And it's like, I work for so-and-so. It's like, no, I'm all right, thank you.
Yeah, it's like that.
Really? Is it really?
Yeah,
right.
Of course, it's it's less cool than it used to be to sign to major labels. That's the reality of it.
Yeah.
And, we all know that. And like I say, I'm pretty institutionalized myself. I've spent the best part of 10 years in and out of working at majors. So I've got a lot of respect, a lot of love, amazing people working in there. But, we should be excited by the fact that artists want to promote independence.
Yeah. That
That is a big thing. Like it's only going to create more art. If more people, from when I started, people thought, like yourself, well, I ain't going to make it unless I get a record deal.
Yeah.
That was just the mentality. And luck, you're a 1 in 100 that goes, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to do that. I'm going to get the record deal. The other 99 people basically down tools the moment they realize that's what you have to do. And, and those 99, we might have lost some great artists in that time.
Yeah.
Whereas now, the moment you've got a bit about you and you've got some talent, you've got passion, you want to write some songs, the first thing anyone around an artist these days says, that's why loads of friends have become managers, which is, excuse me, an important thing, because kind of bit what I'm saying to you, like about putting your stuff out, really the most important role now is someone to like encourage you and push you over that line to release music.
Yeah.
And, waiting around for a major can sometimes take forever and you might miss your chance. So I think the opportunities that artists have in general to release independently, and that could be through an independent label or like literally independently uploading it yourself to DistroKid and just putting it out there, that's brilliant, mate. That's absolutely brilliant.
It's funny because it's like, I remember got signed like twice in my life, and it was the feeling of like maybe a kid signing for West Ham, a kid signing for Arsenal. It was that feeling, and that's what makes me feel old. Like when everyone's like, "No, we do it on our own now." We do it.
I'll be honest, without naming names, but I know artists, plural, in the last year. Like I know these artists, I know their managers, where they've signed for labels and they don't want to announce or let fans know, put any pictures on their socials. If you go on Spotify, it will say, source of this audio normally says like Universal, Sony. They'll insist in their contract to Universal that it still states just their name. So they're giving off the energy that it's still independent to their friends, because it's like, because that's a part of it. That's a part of often a lot of acts. That's a part of their brand.
Interesting. That's well interesting.
Yeah, I never would have thought that. Yeah.
Well, it seems to have just fallen that far out of the tree that it is that uncool now to just be like, I used to be.
I think it's not about it. I think it's less about being uncool for signing to a major and more about being cooler being independent. Do you see what I mean?
what goes around comes around, though, in anything.
Yeah, of course. This is why, I don't know the question you're going to ask me, but like, when people, often when you do these things, you work in music, you're like, what's the state of play in the music industry? Are we at an all-time low? Are we at an all-time high? Being this old now, like I've seen the ups and the downs and them come back around again. And you end up becoming more comfortable for the fact that it's just constantly evolving, and this phase will last for this period and then it will be another phase. And often even in sonics, it's almost cyclical by your watch. Do you know what I mean? Like all the stuff with, when I was doing stuff with Craig, like on the second half of his career, yes, there was loads of momentum for people's love for him, but really it was born out of that. I've always felt it was born out of the rebirth of garage music.
Craig David,
sorry.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And, I look back now and like, Disclosure, when they kind of brought back garage, that garage sound, and like, garage had been gone for 15 years. And remember, I was like 15 when it came out. So by the time I'm 30, this is like that's what like old guys listen to. And then, but you see almost by your watch, same as drum and bass right now. Look at it. Like I'm in my third era of drum and bass coming back. And I'm sure garage is going to have another movement later down the line. So I guess going back to what I was saying about these things and this industry, like, everything has its moment, everything moves on. There's always something else to be worried about. There's always something else to give us hope. And I think really in particular, kind of selfishly in my job and how I kind of sleep easy at night, is that really the nuts and bolts of what I do don't change. And I don't want them, and I can't let them change in my head. I can't become obsessed with social media. That's not how I'm going to help an artist. I still have to just be focused on, the talent, the development, and, most importantly, the songs.
Yeah. What trends do you see gaining momentum at the moment?
I think I wouldn't call it a trend, but thankfully, I definitely feel like we're about to re-enter the era of authenticity, which is amazing. Yeah. I think, unfortunately, even though I'm a big dance guy and I come from that world, sometimes when you have a dance era, it can kind of, I think, cheapen the palette a little bit of the listener, and it can cheapen the ambitions of record labels, because it's almost like, what, why are we going to spend 3 years developing another Tom Grennan? Let's sign 10 drum and bass records, bang, they're ready, let's go. But that is like it's a can of Coke, mate. You open it, fizzes up nice, last 5 minutes, it's done. And you feel about it after. And I think that the trend now, I don't want to call it trend, but I'm getting a feeling now that everyone in my like world, people that kind of do my job, or people that have other jobs within major labels, I think they know that patience and authenticity is really is the only way we're going to kind of keep building things. And I think I'm getting the feeling it's what consumers want more than ever now as well.
Yeah, thank.
yeah, totally. But again, that's why I ain't been wigging out the last few years. Lockdown things up as well, because you've got to remember, during lockdown, it meant there was no live shows, no anything. You couldn't develop talent. I couldn't be in a room with an artist talking to them about their music. The artist couldn't be in session. So you're always going to have that, that knock-on effect for that period. And in that period, everyone was like, okay, what's disposable? What is easy? And that's when, dance music, God bless it, that's when it comes to the front, in terms of what you're listening to and what you're making. But now I think that settled down and people are back in for the long haul, the album artists, which thank God, like you say.